Hello guys, my name is Aditya and the topic for today is finding and handling the missing values. We'll be doing this using Pandas. Okay, so first of all let me import Pandas as PD and also import, because we'll be using NumPy as well, NumPy as NP. So, and also there is a data set that I've given in the description below to check it out and download it from there and open a new notebook and try it along with me. Okay, and keep the data set in the same folder where your notebook is present. Okay, generally it is present in the users section. Okay, now uh, to import the data, let me just do data is assigned to pd dot read underscore csv and titanic.csv. The data is the Titanic data, that how many people survived in the after the Titanic crashed. Okay, so let me just show you data.shape. So it has 891 rows and 12 number of columns. Let's see how does the data look like. Okay, first few rows of the data. So the data has passenger IDs, the person survived or not. 1 means survived, 0 means not survived. This passenger ID is an increasing order. Okay, 1 to 891, and this passenger class is first class, second class, or maybe third class. Okay, and the name of the passenger is here, the sex of passenger, whether it is male or female, the age of passenger. Okay, and sibling and spouse, how many siblings and spouse do they have, 1 or 0 or maybe even more than 1. And how many parts do they have? Here it is showing 0, but somewhere there may be 4, somewhere there may be 2, and so on. What was the ticket number that they were assigned to, and what was the fare for that ticket number? Okay, and which cabin they were assigned, and where did they embark from? Okay, S, C, and E, these are 3 places. I don't remember the names, but even the computer does not need to know the name. Okay, so just we can just ignore it for now. So let us see why I have chosen this data set is it has many missing values. So how can we find the missing values? So in order to find the missing values, we write data dot is null. Okay, whatever is null, this thing will return. Suppose this thing will return 891 cross 12 number of cells, each with either a true or a false. That means this is not null, right? Then it will return false. This is null, NaN, null. Okay, so this will return true. So if let me just run this once. So see, it has 80 to 890 rows, that is this many rows, and 12 number of columns with false and true. Okay, so there was only one null value in the 0th row. Okay, so that is cabin, so it is showing true there. Okay, now what it is really difficult to see this way, right? That how many number of, we will not keep counting the true values, that how many number of null is present in which column, right? So we write here sum. Okay, in this way. Then we have the passenger ID has 0 null values, the survived column has 0 null values, P class 0, and so on. Age has 177 null values. Okay, and the cabin has 687 null values, and embarked has 2 null values. So let us see what if we want to get the percentage of null values. Okay, how many percentage of null values are there? So what we can do is, how do we calculate percentage? In the same way we'll be calculating the percentage here as well. Okay, so into 100 divided by the number of rows in the data. So number of rows will be given by the 0th element of this shape tuple. Okay, here we have 891 and 12, so the 0th element is 891, so it will divide it by 891. So age has 19%, nearly 20%, right? Null values. embarked has nearly 77, sorry, cabin has nearly 77% null values, which is really huge. Okay, and embarked has 0.2245% null values, okay, which is very less. And the count is also 2, right? Just 2 null values. So what we can do is, see, we can't work with the null values just keeping as it is. We have to replace it with something, or we have to drop it. Okay, we have to drop that column. If we drop these 3 columns, see, this has only 20% null value, so it will lose the 80% of the data. It only loses nearly 23% of the data, so it is a good idea to drop this cabin. Not always, but without the knowledge of the data, we can clearly drop this cabin. If we know about the data in detail, like what kind of cabin were assigned to which kind of people, right? I mean, how cabin is, how the allocation of cabin helped in this survivability. Okay, so we can fill that values, but for this case, let us just drop this cabin. Okay, so how can we drop a column from a data set? Yes, data frame. So data dot drop. Okay, and what we can write here is cabin. Okay, we have to maintain the case as well. So cabin, right? It was capital C, cabin, and this cabin is in axis 1. I told you earlier that axis 0 refers to rows and axis 1 refers to columns. So this cabin is actually a column, so we need to write here axis is assigned to 1, and we need to write one more thing, that is in place is equal to true. Now what this in place does is it reflects back whatever the changes were made. That means if this cabin is dropped, whatever the data is remaining apart from the cabin, okay, total data minus the cabin will be assigned back to the data. That means the data will be changed. Okay, that is why in place is assigned to true. You understood that? It simply means that whatever changes are being made, reflect it back to data. Do not let the changes go off. Okay, reflect it back to data and save it to this data variable. Okay, so if we write this and then if we print data dot head, then we see that the cabin is gone. Okay, we don't have any cabin here, any more cabin here. So this is how we can drop. Okay, now let us see data dot is null dot, not here, dot sum. How many more remaining? So now only we have age as 177 values. Okay, and embarked as 2. So see, to fill a missing value, we can use data dot fill na. Okay, and then what we can do is we can fill it, we can fill it using a value, like say value. Okay, and what value we want to fill it with is, suppose say age is a numerical value, right? So most of the times I prefer filling the numerical values. Numerical means continuous, not discrete numerical values like p class. Okay, it has only 3 values, 1, 2 and 3, so this is discrete, right? But the age can be 22, 32, 24, 22.5 or 32.5, something like that. So this is a continuous variable, right? So we can fill it with the mean of that variable. Okay, so before filling it, let me just insert a cell, insert cell above, and let me just show you how data dot age dot describe. So see, the total number of rows in the data was 891, right? 891. But here in describe it is showing only 714 number of count of edges. That means it is ignoring all the null values. Okay, and then it is calculating the mean. You're getting my point? The mean is calculated by ignoring the null values, which is exactly, that is exactly what we want, right? We have to fill the missing values with the mean of these values, like 29.6. Okay, we have to fill it with that. So np dot mean, and what we do is dot data dot age dot fill na data dot age. Okay, so fill the na values. Na means the null values, not available values. Okay, so fill the null values of this data, the age column of this data, okay, with a value of mean of that column itself. Okay, so let me just run this once. Now data dot is null. I guess we need to write in place as well there, but let's see. Dot sum. Yes, we need to write in place as well, because it was not reflected back to data. That's what I said, right? It made the changes here, but after this step the changes were lost. So in order to retain those changes, we need to write this in place is assigned to true. By default the value of in place is false. Okay, so now the age has 0 number of null values, or all the null values were filled with this mean of the age. Okay, so this is one way of filling a null value. Another way is, suppose like embarked is a discrete thing, right? Here we have S and C. So what we can do is either we can fill it from the bottom side or the top side. Let me just get the rows which are null in embarked. Since there are only 2 rows, we can get it easily, right? What we'll do, data where data dot embarked dot is null is equal to true. So row number 61, here the embarked is null, right? And row number 829, here the embarked is null. So we can either fill, if we use backfilling. Okay, if we use backfilling, then 828, whatever the value is in 828 will be filled to this, will be exactly copied to this, and whatever is the value in 60 will be exactly copied to this, because this is 61, right? And if we do front filling, okay, f fill, then the value of 830 will be filled to here, will be exactly copied to here, and the value of 62 will be exactly copied to here. Okay, so let me show you how we can do that. So data dot fill na, and we write method. Okay, not just data dot embarked dot fill na method is fill, fill. Okay, so it will fill from 830 to 829, and it will fill from 62 to 61. Okay, and method is fill, and in place is assigned to true, and access is 1 is assigned to access, true is assigned to in place. Okay, so if I run this, then it should fill these 2 values as well. Okay, there is some error. No access named 1 for object type series. Okay, sorry, I'm really very sorry, because see, here also we have not used access, right? Because see, this is already a series. If we just write data, then there are rows and columns. But if we just if we write data dot age, that means it's already a column. We do not need to specify access or something. Okay, so we do not need to specify access here as well, because this is already a column. Data has both rows and columns, but this is a column of a data, so we do not need to write access here, and this will work fine. Now let us see data dot is null dot sum. Okay, So we do not have any more null values, right? See, we could have used bfill here as well, okay? And there are many other filling methods. So these three methods are mostly used, that's why I've shown you these methods, right? So I cannot write bfill now because it will throw an error, because it has already it may not throw an error, but it will not do anything because it has already filled the null values. There are no null values, so it will not fill anything, right? So we could have used bfill here or ffill here. Okay, this is front filling and bfill is back filling. So for if you want to know more about filling, you can directly go to the documentation of Pandas and search for dataframe.fillNA. You'll get it. Okay, so I hope you understood this, and I also hope that you now know how to fill the null values, how to get the null values and fill the null values. So thank you very much for watching. Have a great day ahead. If you actually like the video, hit the like and the subscribe button. Also share it with your friends. Thank you very much.